Hi guys, so we're Gelos.
Yeah, and essentially the problem we're setting out to solve is that creating graphics for marketing is extremely difficult. It's time consuming, it's tedious, and there's so many moving parts. As a little bit of a backstory, I work at a company called The Neuron, and one of the things that they did was they wanted to create a lot of marketing graphics. So I was talking to the founder, and he said the first thing he started doing was sit down and just spend 3 hours researching, here are the 40 or 50 graphics he could create. And then finally, when he had a few good ideas, he went to go ahead and create the graphics. But the process of editing and putting stuff together on Figma was extremely tedious. And after a while, he simply just gave up. And then I resonated a lot with this because over the summer, I built an AI note-taking platform for college students, and to try and market it, I tried to do the same thing. I made memes that college students could relate to, and I made storyboards that I could post that they could relate to, and the whole process just took me way too long. And finally, the resolution at their Neuron was that they ended up hiring a designer and paying them $2,000 to create 50 different graphics. And the quality of the graphics was okay. It wasn't excellent or anything, considering that it was a designer, but the whole experience was interesting because it really showed that, number one, there's a problem, and number two, people are willing to pay a decent amount of money for some sort of solution. And then Michael, he went through something similar as well, right?
Yeah, when I was starting a Chrome extension I made a year ago, we now have up to more than 10,000 users. But so how we got there was through Twitter, through Product Hunt, through other Instagram channels. And creating graphics, especially as a small business owner with only 1 or 2 people on it, personalized, trendy, and relevant to your business that can easily reach younger audiences.
So there's a lot of different types of marketing content out there, so I really wanted to take a second to distill why we're focusing specifically on memes. I think one of the biggest reasons is that there was some study that said that 55% of 13 to 18-year-olds share memes with their friends on a daily basis. And I think something just about the humorous nature of memes make it so that regardless of whether it's a brand or an individual posting it, it's just going to get a lot of organic sharing and a lot of traction. There's just a simply higher click-through rate on meme marketing campaigns and more engagement. There was a Netflix study where they saw that one of their marketing campaigns that relied on memes actually got 10 times more engagement than their typical campaign. And it was just a good place to start. So that sort of drove the decision.
So now we're going to go into our demo.
Let's see it.
So this is our landing page. It has our slogan and it has some of the basic memes that we've generated as examples. And so the entire concept behind this is that all you have to do is fill out some basic information about your brand. I'm going to use an example of Dunkin' Donuts since we ate that for breakfast. And I just copied in a description that we found earlier. Okay. So here on our page, we have 3 different options. Currently, we only support these 2. What's salesy? It essentially emphasizes the Dunkin' Donuts product or whatever product is being inputted in the memes generated, while industry actually just focuses on the general sector that the business is in and will generate content related to that. For Dunkin', we'll focus on salesy. Try it out.
Yeah, it'll take a few seconds, but let's see. Oh, this one says me trying to sleep, and then my brain reminding me I forgot to try the new Dunkin' Donuts flavor.
Okay, so
it's getting there. And some better prompting in the back needed, but
I think, it's good for, especially this one, for like just promoting the name of the brand. And for the second one, we wanted to focus on the general industry. Or do any of you guys have any like specific companies that you want to try out?
let's do it.
Go for it. All right.
Let's do some like shady company, like
Yeah.
Yes.
What? FTX.
Oh, let's go. Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Will it be a promotion?
It might not have context about the recent events, but let's see if it does.
That's to 100 of us all.
Do you know Mary Calenda?
30.
Nobody knows?
30.
Mary
Yeah.
Calenda?
Gambling.
Crypto, gambling, getting rich.
Get rich quick.
Oh, gaming.
Game.
Yeah.
Crypto, gambling, and getting rich.
Anime.
Drugs.
Drugs?
Drugs is a good one.
He was always so
So this is the Doge vs Teams meme, and it's me checking my portfolio after crypto bull market, me checking my portfolio during crypto crash.
Yeah, someone trying to explain why it's smart to invest everything in one crypto, me diversifying my portfolio like a pro. And then this is when you sold your crypto before the big spike, when you held through the dip only to sell at a loss, and when you tell everyone you're in it for the long-term investment. And it's all the same thing.
So it seems like the crypto memes are a lot about like holding on no matter what. But yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, and this was specific, that's why I didn't focus specifically on the company FTX. And the whole reason we had two categories is because some brands might want to be more straightforward, a little bit more conservative when it comes to their meme marketing. And then other brands, they might want to be either more edgy or want to experiment a little bit more. If they're posting from their Instagram, they may not feel the need to mention their brand in their meme. So that's why we wanted to give the two options.
Can we try the sales one?
Yeah, that was the Dunkin' Donuts one that we just showed you.
We just tried.
Yeah. Yeah, so very quickly we wanted to touch over the market size. Currently we're focusing on AI-generated memes for small businesses. I think in the future it would be very interesting to expand, and that's why we think our SAM is not only AI-generated memes for small businesses, but also general graphics, not only memes, and then expanding to social media influencers, politicians, and not just small, but enterprise businesses. And then finally, the whole AI-generated marketing market itself is worth $35 billion, so there's definitely a lot of opportunity to expand.
Yeah, so this is just what we have now. So today we're limited to businesses, and we have a few meme templates that we made. In the future, we'll have like hundreds of meme templates and functionality for politicians and influencers. And in the future, as Rudy said, we're going to expand into story graphics and informative posters that might reach the audiences of certain businesses better. Yeah, so that's it.
Thank you guys.
You guys have any questions?
Yeah, what did you use to generate the memes?
We actually have a set of meme templates that we collected by ourselves. Right now we only have 10. And then we use GPT to fill in the text for each of the meme images.
Yeah. And then we manually mark the bounds. Here is where the text should go. Yeah.
Obviously, this type of idea is something that could go viral. Have you guys thought about any particular marketing schemes to get it out there?
Yeah, I think one of the most interesting things, we were talking about this earlier, but to find either company posts or posts about some specific industry that are going viral and then just comment in the thread a meme that we created it, that might be interesting because the company itself might repost or it'll just get organic traction. And then other than that, we wanted to maybe create a Zapier automation or just write a script where we'll create a spreadsheet and input company names and emails and have it send them a personalized email with a personalized meme for their brand. I think that might be interesting. And then creating our own meme pages for a lot of topics. Crypto would be an interesting one. Maybe AI itself, and just running 5, 6, 7, 8 meme pages so that we can use that to market platforms.
end on how accurate the response is and how usable they are, and how do you continuously improve and make it more accurate in the response, like that can be used at all times.
Yeah. So right now, when we created it, we had a singular prompt for every single template. What we're hoping to do, and we're trying to do this, we just didn't have enough time in the 24 hours we had to build this, but ideally we'll have a separate prompt for each theme, and in the prompt we'll have specific examples of memes that work for that particular meme. So right now in the prompt we gave it as context examples of 20 memes that brands put out, but there were a broad variety of memes that were successful and a good example of what to follow. So if we're able to make those example memes cater specifically to the individual meme, we think that'll work.
What was the most challenging part of the project?
Definitely. Okay. I think the most challenging part was definitely to get GPT to even come up with funny responses, because on its own, like, GPT is very professional and really generates a lot of formal, if you tell it to generate marketing stuff or for memes without any examples or prompt engineering, it gives pretty dry responses. And it took a while to actually get to what we have now. And yeah.
It would be cool to use Twitter's version of GPT because it has the latest trends, thoughts, and is sarcastic. I think it would make for a better.
Oh yeah, Grok would be amazing when the API comes out. That would be cool. And then connecting it, we were thinking about doing it, but maybe connecting to the Google search trends, like some API that gets Google search trends, so that when you make memes, it can be related to stuff that happened in the past week. Probably because that'll get great engagement, so maybe that would be cool. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully we can use a more filtered LLM. Yeah, that'd be very interesting.
Especially to save money as well, because GPT is expensive, so training our own model would definitely help.
But I think the first thing, and probably a question that pops up in people's minds is this simply a GPT render? And the first thing we actually tried doing ourselves was going to the GPT app builder and trying to create it within GPT. And what we realized was that simply because there's limits to how much context we can give it, and simply because of just the way it's structured, it just wasn't very good. When it wrote code to render text over the memes in the GPT app builder, the text was extremely small, it was in the corner, and it wasn't very relevant to the meme. So we had to string together a few posts and manually download fonts, and there's a lot of additional software that we had to add on top of just a simple GPT call. So I think there is some innovation going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Quick question. Just because you mentioned a couple of industries that you guys target, I like the idea of making a bunch of pages for those different industries. Is there any particular in mind that you're thinking of kind of like going into and like specifically learn a little bit more about how those businesses potentially could use this?
Right now, just because there's so much meme-worthy material, crypto is interesting. But with that being said, I think we need to sit down and do some more research and really identify 4 or 5 different sectors we can hone in on. Because it would be interesting to just create 6 or 7 different meme accounts and see how they all perform. Hopefully, odds are one of them at least will gain a lot of traction and blow up, but that would be really cool.
By the way, but yeah, I would ask a question. What I noticed, and that's actually I think the problem, basically the training set, but the memes are quite not repetitive, but like you can see like the basically the same pattern. And the thing is that's generally the most popular memes, so that's why basically they have been chosen. If you will continue within the companies, for example, they can award, for example, months or 2, they probably need to generate something new as a meme, especially if they will release some kind of product, which you have to actually fetch a meme for that product, which should be like more unique, right? Because For example, for Dunkin' Donuts, in general, it's simple. But for example, if Dunkin' Donuts released a new coffee drink, which is with some caramel syrup or something like this, how you should actually adjust it to have a fresh meme for this product. I just want to know, guys, what do you think? Like, how are you gonna tackle this maybe in the future too?
What if we could? Alright, I'm just thinking out loud. Right now, for the purpose of the demo, we literally randomly select memes. Obviously,
Yeah, obviously.
That's what we wouldn't do when we launch a product. We could have a pretty long text description under each meme, and then when someone requests a new meme, so they input custom content saying, I want to make a meme about this specific part of my company, we could search through the database, maybe using a vector database in some way to find a meme that correlates. Does that make sense?
So I think it also has to relate to the kind of memes that we choose to feed in to the model. Like, I think we chose definitely like the very popular ones, but we'll get like a few. If you have a few hundred, we also can prompt it to like weigh memes that are more unique, heavier, or use more related to current events, as we were talking about.
Okay.
The last question. Did you guys think about how you might want to get feedback from users based off of, was this meme actually funny, was it not? And to create a feedback mechanism to make better, more sarcastic. Do you think that's necessary, even?
Yeah, I think that's good, because from what we've seen, it's always like when we generate 10, there'll be like 2 really good ones and the rest will be okay. As I said, we're going to train our own model in the future, so I think training it only on content that has gained the most traction, or also content that people have approved to be really well, like we can continuously add it as a training loop in the future. Yeah.
Last line about it. Have you guys thought about which context businesses or people may or may not want to use it, either or context where they might want to use it versus might not want to use it? And the reason I ask this is because everything going on with potential cancel culture and maybe not wanting your brand to look very competent potentially in certain contexts, right? Are there lines for businesses and what might that look like?
I would definitely say so. I think one of the earlier customers and who you want to target at first will probably be startups. Think your 2 founders whipped up a tool in a month and they're focusing on improving the tool. They're spending what little time they have on marketing. So this will help them quickly just generate 2, 3, 4 things to post a day. We think we're not going to get much pushback from areas like that. Now with brands, I understand that larger companies, they have to be a lot more careful about what they say, especially because of cancel culture. I think that's why we wanted to separate it into 2 modes and add a 3rd mode where you can enter your context. So the sales team mode that we had, essentially the prompt we gave it, we asked it in a respectful way, relate the meme to the product, and don't be disrespectful to anyone. Because I think that larger brands, the type of meme they're going to want to put out is something that's typically safe. Me when I get up in the morning, really craving my Dunkin' Donut. Something that isn't really going to get a lot of pushback or a lot of controversy. That's how we put that mode in for. Michael, do you have anything to add?
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you.